Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Birmingham. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Our flowers on the altar this morning are in honor of all who nurture and care and love on us throughout our time on earth. To all who are here this morning, welcome home.
If you would like to participate or comment on our service, especially during the sharing of joys and sorrows, please use the chat feature in YouTube. At last count, we have 34 folks registered for our retreat at the mountain in North Carolina on August 27 through the 29th. We're hoping to have at least 60 to have the mountain to ourselves. Reverend Julie is working on the program, but there are a host of opportunities that the mountain provides. Everything from hiking trails to a labyrinth, a farm, a playground, and so much more. We'd love to see you there. Please register as soon as possible at themountainrlc.org/UUCBHAM. Today, after church, the children's choir meets at the church at 12:45. Programs for children and youth start at 1:30. Masks are required. Tonight at 6:30, continuation of the Enneagram with Reverend Julie. It's not too late to join. Watch your email for links. This Thursday, also at 6:30 p.m., we're continuing the discussion of the UUA Common Read, Breathe by Imani Perry. This is a great look from the perspective of a mother of Black boys and the state of our country today. Next Saturday, May 15th, our children's choir, the Flames of Harmony, is hosting a virtual talent show at 6 p.m. All are welcome to attend. They would also love your submissions, so please submit your video by May 12th to either Becca or Reverend Julie, and we'll ensure we prepare it for the lineup. Please check this morning's announcements.
And I'm Dahlia Abrams.
We're the co-founders of Birthwell Partners Community Doula Project. Birthwell Partners is a nonprofit that trains birth doulas and provides birth doula services to low-resource families in central Alabama.
About 10 years ago, Susan and I got together and wanted to create an organization that would help improve outcomes for mothers and babies in north central Alabama. And that's why we set up Birthwell Partners to provide doula support for people who can't afford the cost of a doula.
As Dahlia mentioned, we've been doing this for 10 years, and thanks to your generosity, we're hoping to continue being able to do this into the future.
We hope that we can use the funds that you raise for us to continue to pay doulas to attend births for under-resourced families, and therefore improve outcomes for mothers and babies, reducing C-section rates, increasing breastfeeding, and helping with bonding and other things that doulas do that help moms and babies, and make this available to under-resourced families.
Improving the health of families in central Alabama, one birth at a time.
There you go. We also have to talk about that we train doulas. We offer doula trainings 3 or 4 times a year. And our trainings always have an option for people who can't afford the cost of a training to do a work study program with us. So they help us to attend births for families, and we provide them training and support throughout their certification process.
It's a win-win. The doula gets hands-on experience by attending births, and clients get services that they wouldn't otherwise be able to access.
Thank you so much for choosing Birthwell Partners for your Share the Plate for the month of May. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you.
The prelude prepares us for worship. We, Unitarian Universalists, don't drink from our chalice. Instead, we use it to hold a flame. The circle of the chalice keeps the fire very small. The flame doesn't blind us. It doesn't burn us. It gives us light, so we can see all the different things in the universe, even the invisible ones, because the Unitarian Universalist flame is the light of learning. The flaming chalice is a symbol of learning and of love. It's our symbol, the symbol of the Unitarian Universalist.
If you live now far or near, no matter what your weakness or your strength, there is not one on earth we count outside. May deeper joy for all now come at length. May deeper joy for all now come at length. Let none among us lie or self-deceive, nor cultivate a hatred all apart. May never one of us live by our rage, nor wish another injury of heart, nor wish another injury of heart. Just as the goodly mother will protect her children in at risk of her own life, so may we nurture in our mindfulness a boundless heart beyond all fear and strife, a boundless heart beyond all fear and strife.
Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change the world for the better. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for the marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. This month's Share the Plate recipient is Birthwell Partners, an organization focusing on providing direct support to pregnant women in need. They offer doula and other support services before, during, and after delivery. Birthwell Partners has been helping pregnant women in need for a decade this month. During this time of social distancing and online worship, please know that our church expenses continue. Therefore, we very much appreciate your continuing to pay your pledge or offer your donation by either mailing a check to the church office or by using PayPal or Venmo. Our Venmo account is at UUCBHAM. Please designate whether your offering is for UUCB or Birthwell Partners. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
As we enter our meditative space this morning, we are with you wherever you are on the journey. Whether you are joyful or sorrowful, angry or scared, we in this beloved community are here to hold you and be with you. Using the chat feature in YouTube, by speaking it aloud, or by hearing it on your heart, please share with us what is on your heart today. Please hear this spoken meditation written by Reverend Wayne Arneson, followed by a moment of silence. Spirit of life, known to us in many ways, but so often in so many cultures in the image of a mother, hold us in your arms this day. Let all that we value and all that we hold dear in the images of motherhood we carry be our guide. We are grateful for all the parents that share the community of this congregation, the young ones and the old ones, those still with us and those departed. May the blessings they give us be rich and overflowing. For some of us, our experiences and images of parents have been tarnished by absence or abuse. Let us not forget that all mothers, not all parents, have been able to rise to the many challenges that parenting brings us. May we find healing and even forgiveness for all the ways that our parents fell short of fulfilling the love that gave us birth. The community of this church gives us a great blessing. We are gifted with the chance to celebrate births and parenting and the glorious unfolding of human potential. Today is a day for such celebration. Let us make the most of it. Let us use it for thanksgiving and renewal and rededication in the good company of loved ones and friends. May it be so. Amen and blessed be.
Good morning. Will the children please come forward? This morning, in honor of Mother's Day and my last time for all ages, I am going to share with you one of my favorite books. Now, this book honors our collective mother, Mother Earth, and has some of the most beautiful artwork I have ever seen. I really hope that you enjoy Dear Children of the Earth. Dear Children of the Earth, A Letter from Home by Shim Schimmel. Dear Children of the Earth, I am writing this letter to ask for your help. Do you know who I am? I am the planet Earth, but I am much more than just a planet. I am your home. I am your Mother Earth, and just like you, there is only one of me, so I am very special. I need to be loved for and cared for, just like you. Let me tell you more about myself. I am the boulders and trees you love to climb. I am the wet sand at the beach that squishes under your bare feet. I am the grass you lie down on when you look up at my clouds. I am the rivers and lakes and oceans you love to swim in. I am the cool green forest, the hot red deserts, and the cold white glaciers. I love to hug you with warm sunshine, tickle you with my wind, and kiss you with my rain. Now let me ask you something. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? You see your eyes, of course. You see your hair, your nose, and your mouth. And if you smile, you see your teeth. Do you know what I see when I look in the mirror? I see all the animals walking on my land. I see all the birds flying in the sky. I see all the fishes, whales, and dolphins swimming in my oceans. All of these animals I see are my children. But there's something else I see when I look in the mirror. I see all of you. I see you because you too are my children. All of the animals that live on me are your sisters and brothers. We are all one big happy family. But many people still don't know they are my children, and that all of the animals are their sisters and brothers. They still don't know that we are one big family. The animals have told me, we are worried, Mother Earth. We are afraid because our homes are being destroyed by people who don't know better or don't care. They don't know that we are their sisters and brothers. Mother Earth, these people are cutting down your forest, dumping garbage in your oceans and rivers, and filling your sky with pollution. Tell me, my children, where will the animals live when the forests are all gone? And where will the whales and dolphins swim when my oceans are too dirty to live in? And where will the birds fly when my sky is poisoned? Imagine my oceans with no whales or dolphins swimming in them, and all the seals and sea otters gone. Imagine how empty my blue sky would look with no birds flying in them, and think how quiet the trees would be with no birds singing. I would be so lonely. Wouldn't you be lonely too? And so, my children, I need your help, and the animals need your help too. But Mother Earth, you ask, how can I help you and all my sisters and brothers when you are so big and I am so small? Well, my children, let me tell you something. I am not so big, and as a matter of fact, I am quite small. When you go outside at night and look up at the millions and millions of stars, you will see how small I really am. And compared to the night sky, I am no bigger than you. But because I look so big, people think I don't know what they do to me. They think I can't feel what they do to me. But I do know, and I do feel. My children, when many people do a little thing to me, it becomes a big thing. So it's very important for each person to stop doing things that hurt me or hurt their sisters or brothers. Remember, there is only one of me, and there are billions of people. So when each person does a little something to me, it makes a very big difference, a very good difference. Now, what do you think is the biggest, most important thing you can do to help me? What do you think I need from you more than anything else in the world? I will tell you. I need you to love me. That's all. Just love me as much as I love you. Because when you love me, you will care for me. And when you care for me, you will protect me. And when you care for me and protect me, you will save your home and the home of your sisters and brother animals. My children, tell your friends and other people what I have told you. Tell them I am their only home and that I need them to love me and care for me. Tell them that the animals are our brothers and sisters and that we are all one big family. And tell them too that I always know when they do little things to help me. My dear children of the earth, I will now end my letter to you. Remember, I am your home, and just like you, there is only one of me. If you love me and care for me and protect me, I will always be your home, forever and ever. I love you with all my heart, Mother Earth. Thank you so much in joining me. Please join us in singing our song.
1, each person is worthwhile. 2, be kind in all you do. 3, we help each other learn. 4, and search for what is true. 5, all people get a vote. 6, build a just and peaceful world. 7, we take care of the earth. That will bring us back to me and you too.
Recently, I was in a workshop where the presenter invited us to do an interactive activity. We were tasked to create a Unitarian Universalist machine. We made the sounds of the machine, chugga, 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 beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. And once the machine was up and running by the power of our voices, the presenter invited us to throw out sayings we commonly hear at our UU churches, whether or not they are true. One person shouted out, "That's recyclable!" Another person yelled out, "We can believe whatever we want." A third person said, "We are spiritual, but not religious." And the game went on. You've likely heard some of those statements before. One of the common misconceptions we often have to explain to others is that our tradition is really old. One of the biggest surprises to newcomers is how old our tradition actually is, in that Unitarian Universalist ideas are centuries old. Like you perhaps have already come to understand, many of those voices were marginalized throughout the centuries and seen as heretics and threats to the institution of Christianity. Our Universalist ideas go all the way back to the year 230 of the Common Era, when Church Father Origen expressed views that since the church taught Jesus redeemed all humans in his suffering and death, that all people were saved in eternity and there was no eternal hellfire. That was a contradictory church teaching. For us in the year 2021, that's a pretty common viewpoint among most mainline Protestants. But in the year 230, Origen's views were so dangerous that he died from wounds he received while being tortured for his beliefs. Our Unitarian ideas go all the way back to the year 260 of the Common Era, when Sabellius, Paul of Samosata, and Arius all argued in different ways why they did not believe in a Trinitarian theology. That is, three different unique beings made up into one Godhead. Frankly, there are a lot of semantics. But because the power structure was already in place, there wasn't room in this burgeoning new religion of Christianity for people who think outside the box. And so these men and others were excommunicated, some even martyred for their cause. I know some of you are thinking, we are an interfaith church. We have people of all kinds of belief and non-belief as part of our beloved community. What does this have to do with us? Fast forward to the 19th century. In 1819, William Ellery Channing stood in the pulpit at his friend's ordination and delivered an address that he entitled Unitarian Christianity. It is quite possibly the most important sermon in Unitarian history ever written, because in that sermon, just like Christian, Methodist, Presbyterian, Lutheran, names that had originally been insults, William Ellery Channing stood up and proudly declared himself a Unitarian and explained in the hour-and-a-half-long sermon what that meant. The ripples of that sermon would eventually lead the Congregational churches in New England to split, becoming the American Unitarians and what would eventually become the United Church of Christ. In 1961, the American Unitarians, who believed that God is one and not split into three, merged together with the Universalist Church of America, the church who had taught for centuries that all people were destined for salvation and there was no eternal punishment for anyone. These centuries-old ideas, through many manifestations, have been the hallmark of these two separate denominations. And for a lot of complicated reasons, they needed to merge. This week, on May 12th, we celebrate the 60th anniversary of these two denominations becoming one. The challenge was that Unitarians were, by definition, not Trinitarians, and most Universalists were Christian, by definition, and even Trinitarian. But they needed one another. They needed one another so much that they looked again back in time at the ancestors who had gone before them and created a non-creedal, non-dogmatic, unified church. The new creation, what would become known as the Unitarian Universalist Association, would remove the barriers of belief and thought from membership and focus instead on how we were like-hearted, not like-minded. How we get around our diversity of thought to focus on the good we can do in this world. I imagine if we were able to speak to Origen, Sibelius, Paul of Samosata, Arius, or even William Ellery Channing, they would be quite surprised with where we are in our church today. They might even be a bit offended. Our church has evolved over the centuries in some really breathtaking ways. But I would hope that they would be proud of us to see how far we've come to work to include more voices and recognizing how we fail, to see what a beautiful theological kaleidoscope our interfaith tradition has become, including the humanists, the pagans, and all those who felt out of place elsewhere. Many of us feel this distance at the core of our beings from that faith of our childhood or the political beliefs of our family of origin or the cultural understandings of race that we were brought up with, or the ways our family reacted about money and other important topics. We can understand that the starting point is often a much different place than where we are today, and will be a different position from the ending position. Even those who were raised as cradled Unitarian Universalists evolve over time. Mother's Day for many of us can be that reminder of where we began and reflecting on where we are in the journey today. It was 3 years ago last week when I met many of you for the first time. My family and I spent 8 days in Birmingham, meeting many of you in large and small gatherings. And while my itinerary was packed, I did prioritize one extra meeting, a doctor's appointment at an OBGYN here in Birmingham because I was 4 months pregnant. But it wasn't just any doctor. It was the same doctor who had delivered Stark 4 years earlier in Oklahoma. He had since moved to Birmingham. I sat in the hallway as the nurse took my vitals, waiting for a room, and my doctor walked down the hall. And when he saw me, there was a look of shock on his face, and he said, "Julie, what are you doing here?" And I cradled my pregnant belly and I said, "Doctor, I was hoping you would deliver my second child." And he said to me, "That's quite a commute." And I explained to him the situation of how I was applying and hoping that our Birmingham church would call me here. My family has so much to be grateful for from this church and community and the quick ways that you have integrated us into your lives. I'm so thankful that I was able to have the same doctor deliver both of my children, years and states apart. I'm so thankful that our church prioritizes caring for our children and youth programs, because they are an essential part of helping my entire family to feel welcome here. Religious education is one of those life-giving programs of our church, one that was exponentially growing before the pandemic, and I have no doubt will continue to do so when we are back together. And now we are in yet another transition in our religious education program. Nicole Jacobson, who has served our church for 2 years as our Director of Religious Education, is leaving next week to pursue ministry in our faith tradition. We are so fortunate that our current Sunday supervisor, Amethyst Vineyard, who has been at our church for years, is immediately stepping in as our interim Director of Religious Education while we search for a permanent hire. Transitions are never easy, but this one is a joyful one. I hope you'll join me in thanking Nicole for her work with us and doing what you can to help Amethyst as she continues this important work for our children, youth, and adult programs. I'm so thankful for the ways that this church continues to prioritize its mission of teaching all of us, and the ways we are all involved in teaching one another, whether volunteering, donating, or sharing your special skills. Because that's what Mother's Day looks like in a beloved community, when we all recognize the important role that we play in the lives of all the children and youth at our church, even as simple as saying hello to them or learning their names, teaching a lesson, or decorating for a festival. As some of you already know, 6 weeks ago, I was on the playground at our church with Ezio, distracting him while the older kids participated in their lessons. I was helping him off the 2-story play structure when the stair I was on collapsed underneath me from wood rot, and we fell. All I could think about in that moment was protecting my 2-year-old, and so I surrounded him with my body, and I didn't brace my fall because I was so concerned about bracing his. As a result, I hit my head on the church building. And after a trip to the ER, I was diagnosed with a concussion. And I'm finding that 6 weeks out, I still have some cognitive deficits, especially when it comes to improvisational verbal conversation. But I am improving, and I'm in the good hands of many good doctors. What I have told the board repeatedly since that day is that we are so fortunate the person who fell was me. And I truly believe that, because my injuries in someone older than I am could have been devastating. Because those same injuries in one of our childcare workers without health insurance would have been catastrophic. Because my injuries in a visitor to our church might have brought on a lawsuit. I tell you all this not to worry, but to explain how some things have to change in order to make our church a safer and more inclusive place. You'll see some of those changes at our congregational meeting when the board presents its budget for next year. We will need to figure out a new playground for our kids. And that's part of the work of beloved community. We can simultaneously be so grateful for the parents who built our structure years ago, and also recognize that it's time for an update on our playground so everyone can play safely again. Not everyone uses our playground, just as not everyone attends all of our smaller groups or every service, but our playground is a vital part of our church. Our playground is as important to the children and their parents as the coffee hour and potluck is to our adults. It is where our children practice sharing, imaginative play, physical coordination, and have casual conversations reflecting on the lessons of the day. By updating our playground, we can all show our children and young people how much we love them and the volunteers and staff who teach them in our church family, modeling that example of those who have loved us and cared for us when we were younger. We can show how we want our church to live into the future. Our Unitarian Universalist history is ancient and rich with debates and out-of-the-box thinking, and also so distant to where many of us hold our beliefs today. It is still valuable to know where we came from, how we've evolved over time, learning the lessons from our past, and appreciating where we are in the present. Just as we do every Mother's Day, as we remember where we came from, reflect on how we've grown and evolved, and live out our love for all generations within our beloved community. May we go forth from this space, reflecting on the past, enjoying the present, and looking forward to the future and all it holds. May you be held in the heart of community until we are joyfully reunited in person. Amen, and blessed be.
Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me. Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion, be the source of my intuition. Then when life is done for me, let love be my legacy.
Never has been more true than now. We extinguish this flame, but the sparks within us remain alight. From each of us, in our supposed solitude, the signals buzz and hum, sparkling through space one to another, connecting us invisibly but palpably. We are one, and from every window our light shines.
you.